Remember that?
Oh yeah, that was my jam.
Yeah, man. So hold on, let's see if the mic comes in here. You know, I'm brand new to this, man. So you know what I mean. You're my second official one, man.
What's that?
Live.
Oh, this only your second one?
Yeah, it's only my second one, man. I'm not like you, man, where I just, you know, you just turn them out, man. You know what I'm saying? Just pop in and pop out. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Now, normally I do like Facebook. I do a lot of Facebook lives.
Yeah, that's what I don't do. I probably
Facebook.
Yeah.
You see, you know the hold on a second, man. There you go. Yeah, you know, man, when I tried to jump on that Facebook live last time, man. It was the signal was all messed up, man. It's like they don't have it stable or not. It's not stable.
Right. Yeah, it's not. I mean, Facebook Live is not, you know, it's in the beta stages, so they got to fix it, man.
Yeah, man. So, yeah, man, let's talk about Lil Wayne, man, or mental health, man. Today he came out, man, and was talking about the his new album, where at least he possibly releasing the Carter 5 because of Drake's album and Nicki Minaj's album.
Mm-hmm.
And it came out that when he was a teenager, when he was 12, he tried to stab himself in the chest, man.
Yeah. He shot himself in the chest. Actually,
he shot himself in the
mom's
chest.
gun. Yeah,
that's crazy, man.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's a combination of, you know, bad environment, you know, sometimes, you know, bad influences, and not to mention poverty, man. I think that plays a major role.
You think that with him though, it was he was dealing with poverty back at that point, at that point in the game, or you think it was something else that he might have been dealing with?
Well, you know, I would be making a gross assumption.
Yeah,
because I don't know where his financial stage was, or his parents. I'm sure 12 years old, parents were a major factor in his life, so I don't know. But you know, sometimes poverty is not necessarily about the money you have, but the poverty around the knowledge and idea of money. Like you can have, you can have a bunch of money, and that'd be the most dangerous thing to your life. Because if you don't understand money, the effects of it, how to use it properly, which most artists in that industry, they really don't have a scope of money. They'll go through $1 million in a year and won't even know where it went. I mean, it's the nature.
No, they wouldn't got a couple po' boys. They wouldn't got a couple po' boys, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, wow. Man.
Well, yeah. I know I'm somebody. I suffer from I don't suffer, man, but I have bipolar disorder.
Okay.
Rapid cycling bipolar disorder, and that's
okay.
It always gets me when people say, "Oh, this person's bipolar, that person's bipolar," and it's like, "No, man, they're not." And I think again, it goes back to the when I was talking about the other day when I said, you know, aardvark, where we don't properly define things. And because we're not properly defining things, it throws everything off. So when people hear bipolar disorder, it's like, oh, this person's bipolar. They may think that this person has some sort of attitude, you know, dealing with their personality or personality dysfunction. But in all actuality, it's more of it's a chemical imbalance. Bipolar disorder is a chemical imbalance. When you see people who act a fool, who at 1 minute they change their personality just like they change draws, hopefully. When they change their when their personality changes like that, there's someone that has borderline personality disorder. And there's a difference between the two, obviously. You know, you got the chemical imbalance, and I think that's what a lot of Black folks are affected with, is borderline personality disorder.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of us have those kind of issues, man. I think a lot of it has to do with, domestication. We've been domesticated. Every human being gets domesticated when they take their first breath. We're told how to eat, how to walk, how to talk. When our children are crying, we make assumptions when they're babies. Or maybe they're hungry, or maybe they need changing, the diapers changed. Or maybe they want to be held because we can't communicate at that time, and that's our best form of communication. So because the planet is basically, when it comes to human beings, the planet is domesticated. We really don't have a true concept of freedom or independence because we've fallen out of the natural propensity for love and affection. I think every human being wants that love and affection, and we make false agreements that we hold on to throughout our lives. And when we become adulterated, or what they call adults, we become tampered with, and we got these whole different senses of morals and ethics. We take on a false identity, and sometimes we don't find that out until late in the game, and we realize that we hold on to a lot of baggage, and we blame ourselves for a lot of things that we could just really just let go. But it's hard to do that, and that creates the mental, what is categorized as mental illness. But usually those that categorize mental illness have a mental illness. And it's coming to grips with understanding that we all have certain levels of mental disability.
Yeah.
Just like physical impediments, we got mental impediments, man.
Now, yeah, I could definitely see how that happens, and I can kind of see what drives that. So yeah, if you hear like a lawnmower going on around me, or the mailman just drove by, the Amazon truck just drove by all at the same time, man. I guess
Okay.
that's one of the issues, or I guess one of the when you're sitting out on the porch because you work from home, enjoying the weather, you can experience people cutting grass, man.
That's
So
right. That's a lovely thing.
that's a good problem to have, I suppose.
Right. Right.
But
Right.
yeah, man, it's like I really credit my wife. I really, really, really give her props because when I was, they say people when you first start exhibiting bipolar traits is when you are in your early 30s. We had only been married 3 years, man, and she was like, "I'm gonna ride with you. I'm gonna put up with you. I'm gonna go through it with you." And I know that there's no other woman that could have done something like that I see. I always tell people when I talk about my wife, I say, hey, you always marry either a teacher or a nurse because they see the best in people when they have the absolute worst.
Yeah.
And I know that, my wife deals with children who have separate, who weren't held. We were talking the other day, and we're talking about one of the kids that she had in a class in the past that had some sort of disorder where within the first few days is when we really start to associate. Is when we really start to we associate and bond with other human beings. So when those first few days, when the baby cries and they're in that incubator by themselves, they're not receiving any help. There's something happens mentally where that baby's personality can fracture, and then they realize no longer, not to trust, and they grow up at that point where you know people like that, where they have trust issues. Well, they have trust issues probably because they weren't held enough, probably because their mother may have had jaundice or something like that. And what they found is in the study is when these people who they've had issues, people who have like psychopathic issues, they were something that happened early on when they were a baby. They weren't held too much. They had some sort of illness. They had a fever. They were sick. That's a lot of times you hear about, they say, oh, they were real sick as a child. They were a sick child, and they grew up and they just turned into a murderer or someone that had was morally bereft. So yeah, it's mental illness is a hell of a thing, man. And I know that that as Black people, that's something that we go through, and it's not treated, and it's misdiagnosed.
Right, right, right. That's true, man. That's true.
Yeah.
It's definitely something that, you know, all of us have to come to grips with, and really be open to seeking psychiatric help. And it's not always necessarily your fundamental, like going to see a psychologist or a psychiatrist and they prescribe some type of medicine, or you go to a psychologist. And that is not the type of mental abatements that we do have, not as far as Black people. You do have cases where the chemical imbalances and the ability to cope do get very extreme. But we talking about those real subtle moments or dark moments that cause you to be inconsistent in your thoughts. And it becomes hereditary. You know, it becomes hereditary, and the family looks down on it. It's a social thing. And, you know, your sociability, you feel embarrassed about it. And in Black families, you know, we got a lot of, you know, hidden issues. You know, everything from abuse in the form of incest, rape, desensitization, sodomizing, isolation, bigotry. That's a lot because of our oppressive upbringing. You know, and we've created a perpetual bigoted system against one another. And again, I hate to be redundant because I think I mentioned this in the last broadcast, you know.
People you gotta say it sometime. We say you gotta say it 8 times for people to hear it.
Yeah, Black rednecks and white liberals. You know, we took on the traits of our oppressor because they were oppressed leaving where they came from and had an isolated idea of humanity. And we have a detached sense of humanity because we don't have a lot of historical markers that remind us of our descendancy and ancestral responsibility towards one another. Altruism is not it's a rare commodity that really practice altruism, man. That's like far and few between, man.
Yeah. My wife told me the other day, she said, Darren, the world should be more like you. I said, man, you know, I had to clap myself. I want you to remember that next time. Next time you tell me to do something, man. The world should be more like me and less like you. So
yeah.
But yeah, man, I want to get on, man, and just holler about that real quick, man.
Definitely, man.
You know, we got this other channel, Blurred Planet, that we put out content on. You know, it's the home of the Black intelligentsia. And so Black intelligentsia is where we're gonna have really just thought-provoking conversations. And so if y'all check out that channel, man. You know, I'm gonna put links and all that stuff in here, man. So yeah, man, I appreciate it, man. Let's keep
let's get
going,
it, man. That's right.
Right on, bro.
All right, bro.
All right, peace.